everybody, welcome back to my channel. How you doing today? So we have here a couple of drive lines. The one in the foreground is the one that goes on the rat rod, and it is 4 1/4 inches too short. The one in the background is a front piece of a 2-piece drive shaft off a Pathfinder, same diameter. I'm going to do a little splicing and dicing here today. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here is scribe a line . Down the length, part way, as centered as I possibly can by hand. What this does is gives me a reference mark when I slice and dice it to keep the universal joints lined up properly. So this needs to be 4 1/4 inches longer. So I'm going to take a piece 4 1/4 out of this and put it into this. So I'll put her in the chop saw, cut this about right here, more towards the back than the front, and I'll cut this one towards the back as well. So off to the chop saw we go. Okay. So you can see I got my spacer piece cut, I got the driveline cut, all the ends sanded, cleaned up, ready to weld. Interesting thing, when I cut this driveline apart, I found cardboard inside. Never seen that before in a driveline. I imagine it's some kind of dampening material device to silence vibrations and harmonics, I would guess. But I'm not going to need that, so I'm taking it out. If I were to leave it in there, it'd just catch on fire when I'm welding anyway. Okay, next step is to slice and dice this piece in here. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take pieces of angle iron and I'm going to clamp them across the cut on each half. Clamp it all in there, tack weld everything. See how it goes. Okay, as you can see, I've got it all clamped together. Got my 2 pieces of long angle iron. Clamp on each end across the 2 angle irons to squeeze them and center the shaft in between them. Then I've got a clamp right in the middle where the splice is to kind of squeeze everything together, keep it lined up. I checked my reference line. You can't see it because it's underneath this angle iron right here. So I'll give you a close-up of this stuff. So you can see on my angle irons I had to weld on some little flat plates so that the C-clamps had something flat to clamp on, otherwise they keep sliding off. If you just tried to clamp them to this sharp edge, they keep sliding off. Same here, a little flat plate, a little flat plate. And then this is a special vice grip clamp that has little angles welded on it already. for doing such things as this. Okay, next we'll start welding it up. Start by putting a few tacks on it, turning it over, tacking the other side. Try to weld it as evenly as possible. Back over. Back over. Weld the opposite side. You may have heard me stitch welding some of it and continuous welding other parts of it. That's because the parts I was stitch welding, there was a little bit of a gap, and surprisingly drive lines are usually pretty thin, so I didn't want to melt through, so I stitched the part where there's a little tiny air gap, and the parts that were tight I just did a continuous weld. Okay, so we've got the open surfaces I can see welded now. Now we'll take all these clamps off and weld the rest of it. Alright, they're all welded up. So while I was welding, I'll repeat it again. You probably noticed that I was welding about an inch or so, and I'd flip it over and weld an inch or so on the other side. And the reason to do that is to try and keep from warping this tube in any one particular direction. Just stagger the welds back and forth like that so it'll keep pulling against each other evenly. Okay. Looks pretty good. Now, you may be wondering if I'm actually going to use this to drive around town on. Probably not, but it's good for temporary use, for mocking things up, and I certainly would go out and give it a test drive. I just wouldn't do any clutch dropping hairy burnouts and risk breaking these welds or twisting the tube. So anyway, when all's said and done, I'll take this driveline into a driveline shop and just say, make me a new one this length. All right, let's go fit it in the car. Okay, let's put our driveline in. Okay, got it temporarily bolted up onto the rear axle differential. A little spinning on it, see how badly it looks warped by eye. And it's pretty straight to me. Not bad for just hacking it. Okay, now this allowed me to make sure when I put my tunnel in that I got clearance and everything around the drive line. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching my channel, and I'll see you next time.